We are talking Detroit Lions right here on Proline TV, part of the Ourlads Football Network. I'm your host, Greg DePalma, and whenever we get a chance to talk about the Lions, and this is going back some years now, it is this gentleman here, Jeff Risdon, the lionswire.com. Actually, it is lionswire.com, correct?
I'm no longer there. I actually have moved full-time. My Lions stuff is now at the Detroit Lions podcast full-time. I switched that a couple months ago.
Oh, okay. Well, congratulations.
Thank you. It's been a wonderful move. It's been very good for me.
So the Detroit Lions podcast, is that just a podcast, or are you also writing for them?
I am writing stuff there as well. You can check it out. They have written content. Go to Detroit Lions podcast, and you'll find it.
Well, I will. There is already a link in the description of this video. I forget which one we have, but I will update that for everybody that's watching on demand. So cool. We'll have links there for you to check out Jeff's work covering the Detroit Lions. Okay. So, yes, Jeff, absolutely. I got to ask you this question. I don't know if you thought about this at all, because I kind of did.
Okay.
And that is watching I think when it was all said and done on Sunday afternoon, some people asked me some questions about the game, the Patriots and the Broncos and stuff. And I said this, and I'll say this when we're going to do our first NFL show tomorrow. So I'll tell this to our regular audience that, look, all props to the Patriots and everything they did, and Vrabel and all that. Great job. Great season. Enjoy it. Okay. Now that that's out the window, there has not been a team that's had a luckier season than the New England Patriots, from their road to the easiest schedule in the NFL, to getting to play a banged up Chargers offensive line, to playing the Houston Texans without their elite number one receiver, to playing the Denver Broncos without Bo Nix. And they've landed in a Super Bowl somehow. And then I look at teams like the Detroit Lions, and I look at all of the, especially recently, with the talent that the team has had and the injuries that they've had to deal with. And I say, if there's a team or a franchise that deserves to have luck, it's the Detroit Lions. It certainly isn't the New England Patriots.
No.
Of all franchises. That franchise does not deserve a lucky, here you go, here's your Super Bowl, here's another Super Bowl game for you, which I think they're going to get blown out. But that's still not the point. The fact is that they actually got there. Did you even think about that yourself as a Lions fan, about how does this team, this franchise, get so lucky and we have to deal with all the injuries?
It does make you wonder why the Lord shines upon some franchises and not some others. Yes, it does. I am a believer, though, that you do make your own luck.
You do, and that's what they deserve credit for.
They have taken advantage of it.
Yes.
And the Lions had a pretty good road a couple of years ago when they couldn't take advantage of it, and that's still frustrating to this day. But I still am very happy where this Lions team is, and next year we could be the dog's ass that the Lord shines the sun upon.
That's what we strive for, right?
That's right.
So let's talk about this Lions offseason, because it's been underway for, unfortunately, a lot longer than I'd like.
Yes,
so first, let's talk about the cap, because the cap really doesn't equate the way it should when you look at it. But when you do see minus $16 million, the only thing that I'm looking at is, does that mean that the Lions are not going to have enough money in order to go out and sign big-time free agents? Is this going to be one of those off seasons where they're just going to have to deal with some issues because of their cap?
Yeah, you're not going to be in the market for the top-end free agents that are out there. But then again, this team doesn't really need that either.
Okay.
Your big-ticket items, other than an offensive tackle, but what offensive tackle worth his salt hits free agency and commands a lot of money, They don't need quarterback. They don't need cornerback. They could use a defensive end, but I think we're going to get to the guy that they're going to keep. Wide receiver, they're fine. Their top two are locked up. They have their premium tight end. They're not in the market for any big ticket guys. Now they have to do a little. they can go to the bank of Jared Goff and restructure and get some money from him.
Sure.
They can make a couple of cuts. Graham Glasgow is an obvious one to get themselves where if they want to get a second tier, let's say they want to upgrade their tight end too, and they want to, or they need they need safety help because both their starting safeties, who are great, are injured. If they want to buy a guy like, I don't know, let's say the Browns get rid of Grant Delpit as an example, now that their chaos has happened there. Jim Schwartz apparently going away. My God. Ugh. But I digress.
Yeah.
There will be guys like him that they could go out and sign without a problem. Now, if they wanted to do some blockbuster deal, and I'll be honest with you, I don't even know who the top free agents are because that's just not where this team's at and looking. That's not really where they are.
Yeah,
the long and short of it is they're fine with the cap. They could be better. The other things that they can do, Sam Laporta is due for a contract extension. As long as he comes back healthy, they can sign him, and the way that they can structure it will get more money free for 2026 out of that as well. Because right now he does count a decent amount against the cap, but when you sign guys to extensions, you push that down the road.
Okay, let's see. So
Trey Henderson is a pipe dream for everybody.
Yeah, Trey Henderson is one of these guys that whichever team signs him, the fan base is going to be very happy, and then you got to really just keep your fingers crossed because now that he's at this age.
Well, look at that age column right there, 32 years old.
Yes.
He's not getting younger.
No.
I dare say he's past his prime, and I don't want to and I like the dude. I think he's become an incredible NFL player. I'm not sure he's going to be as good as he has been. And, now Jalen, the name right there at the top, Jalen Thompson, that's the guy that the Lions could have interest in.
Okay.
A lot of those safeties, actually. I think Harrison Smith is probably going to retire if he doesn't play for the Vikings again.
Yeah.
Kevin Byard is interesting. Guys like that certainly fit the role. Cam Curl was a guy that would fit.
Okay.
Again, probably not going to break the bank. He's at what, like $5 million there? Probably gets up to $6-7 million for a year. I did the 6-7 thing. Sorry to everybody. I didn't mean to do that.
Okay. So that's any other position, safety, anything else?
They could be, depending on what happens with their own free agency at linebacker, they could probably add somebody. If Alex Anzalone and Malcolm Rodriguez both leave, and that could happen. I'm not advocating for it to happen, but it could happen.
Yeah.
Defensive end, if Al-Qadim Muhammad leaves, they absolutely need a defensive end to play opposite Aiden Hutchinson, because right now that would leave Aiden Hutchinson and Ahmed Hassanin as the depth chart at edge. So they got to do something there.
Okay.
But Hendrickson's like that, they can't afford that. But a guy like, bring up the edges if you would. So again, I'm not super versed on these free agents yet.
A lot of old guys.
It is. God, that is.
Yeah. And none of them are really
would be okay. He sort of fits the bill.
28. That's not bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Geez.
Yeah. They're all older.
Yates or Gross Matos is a backup.
Yeah,
I mean, if you sign your backup, if you draft your starter, you can. Arden Key's a guy that I know a lot of Lions fans gravitate towards. He's not. I wouldn't say no to him.
Sure.
Calais Campbell still 40 years old. Wow.
AJ
you don't see that 40 in there very often, do you?
No. But hey, the money's good. So, and if you
a lot of these guys, by the way, that are showing up are people that they haven't chose to sign in the past and have been available to them. So keep that in mind too.
And look, you can call it luck, or you can call it really good coaching, a really good free agency. But the Patriots did a really good job with Caleb on Chason.
He certainly would be a guy that would fit the Lions.
Because this is a guy that was a bust for the Jacksonville Jags.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure they couldn't wait to get rid of him. And then he ends up on the Patriots as like a one-year free agent guy, and he actually had a phenomenal season. And sometimes that's what you, that's what you hope for when you sign guys like that. It doesn't always work, but it's worked out for New England this year. Okay, so let me get the Patriot. Let me get their full thing here. I'll figure this out. Okay. So before we get into that, let's picks. There's no third rounder?
Correct.
Okay. Everything
else. They're supposed to have 2, and they have none because they traded them for Isaac to slot.
Okay, and that's fine. Happy with that, right?
I am happy with that. I'm more happy than most Lions fans are about it.
Oh, really?
But he's got to play more and show a little bit more. He's a good player. Like, I don't think people are sour on him, but giving up, they essentially used 3 third-round picks to draft him, and he's your number 3 wide receiver, and will stay your number 3 wide receiver for his rookie contract. Basically, there's a cost-benefit analysis which probably needs to be deep dived into at some point there.
Okay. Well,
but he's a good player. No doubt about it.
He seems to have it. I mean, he's a young kid, so
he's local for me too. So I have a higher opinion of him. He played in the same high school athletic conference as my kids do. In fact, my daughter is playing at his high school tomorrow night in basketball. So, like, it's hard to separate that for me. The fact that he's a local boy done well and has done well for himself.
Yes. Year 2 is always a big one because he had a good season. A lot of times you get these third-round receivers, they do nothing. So he definitely showed something.
That's the Steelers. They know all about that.
Oof, that's a good one. Okay, so let's talk about Lions free agents. Okay, so here's the list. And you mentioned Anzalone because he's a big one. Even though he is getting up there in age, but do you think that – I mean, how did he play? Did he play like he hasn't lost a step?
When he was healthy, yes. He did get dinged up at the end of the season. Most Lions fans, probably their lasting memory is him losing a coverage battle against the Steelers running back, Kenneth Gainwell, on a wheel route. And Gainwell caught it. Anzalone somehow never made contact with him. That's not Anzalone's fault either. He was trying to make a play. And Gainwell won it for a touchdown. That is basically the play that ended the Lions' playoff hopes. But Anzalone has grown. A lot of fans did not like him for the first couple of years, and he has become much more appreciated by the fan base. He is aging.
Yes,
that's fair. He has been a guy who's gotten more, I want to say, testy on social media, but has become more aware. And he has indicated that he would like to come back, but it's not his choice. He's going to go where the money is, and if the Lions offer him the most, he will take it. I don't think there would be any Lions fans that would be upset if he returned, but I also don't think that it's going to be one of those like, oh God, we lost Anzalone, what do we do? Yeah. It's kind of not that guy. But great locker room guy, and is still far and away the best coverage backer on the team, and that would need to be replaced, and that's not easy to do.
Yeah, I could see the Jets making a play for him.
Yes, with Aaron Glenn, absolutely,
and with the money they have.
Yeah, so. And with Brian Duker coming in there as their new, he's familiar, former Lions safeties coach. He's very familiar with Anzalone, so that there's a draw there. I suspect there will be a bidding. I'm not going to say bidding war, but there will be competition for his services this offseason, and he's earned that.
Going DJ Reader, he is 32. Will he be back?
I doubt it. They drafted Tyleik Williams in the first round last year with an eye towards Reader not being back. Reader did not have a great year either. They do have some depth on the inside, so he's probably not coming back.
Roy Lopez?
They would love to have Lopez back. And Lopez played better than Reader did this past season. And you see the comparative salaries there. Yeah, I expect Lopez to be back. I think he's going to be a priority as their number 3 defensive interior player. He did very well down the stretch.
Okay. Other linebackers, Malcolm Rodriguez, what's his health status?
He is healthy now. He missed the start of the season coming back from an ACL. He's a great number 4 linebacker, very good special teamer. That's probably his NFL ceiling. And I say that as somebody who really, really likes Malcolm, like personally. I don't think you overpay for that, but it would be nice to have him back. Grant Stewart is kind of the same guy. Stewart's a little bit more special teams oriented, but they'd like to have him back on special teams. For a while, he was their kick returner.
Grant Stewart?
Grant Stewart was the kick returner.
Wow.
Of intent going into the season.
Okay.
They nixed it because he fumbled a ball in the preseason game.
Well.
But they do like him. And he's a guy that he knows the defenses. And don't rule out Zach Cunningham coming back as well. He was hurt. He did very well for himself this summer before the injury. And he could be a guy that comes back, former NFL tackling champion as a reserve. Another guy who whip smart dude. Understands the defense, understands where he needs to go, and he can cover a little bit. So I wouldn't surprise me at all if he's back too.
Let's see. Now Davenport, there's a guy that can never stay healthy.
Let's hope he's not back for his sake, because I tell you, if the Lions bring Marcus Davenport back, Lions fans might riot. Like, just they've got to read the room here and understand that you can't bring him back with any expectation that he's going to play. Because they've done it 2 years in a row, and it's burned them 2 years in a row. And that's, again, that you shouldn't make decisions based on fan interest or whatever.
Sure.
But you've got to understand where you're at with this group and where he is. Again, nothing against Marcus Davenport. I just hope for his sake that they don't bring him back and he winds up going somewhere else, because he's not going to get a fair shake with the fan base or the media here. And I'll include myself in that. I don't want him back.
Yeah. I mean, he's
nothing personal, but
and he's not going to get any money. He'll just get $1 million or $2 million, and hopefully he'll get healthy.
Yeah.
But
hope so.
You need to change the scenery sometimes. Sometimes it's just luck. You just got to go somewhere else. Muhammad,
I hope he's back, but he's going to be pricey. He finished with double-digit sacks. For as much belly aching as we, as Lions fans and media collectively do about, you got to get somebody across from Aiden Hutchinson. Well, they had Al-Qadim Muhammad, and he got 11 sacks, was amongst the leaders in pass rush win rate throughout the season.
Where did that come from?
You know what? He is a reclamation project done right.
Okay.
Wash out of Indianapolis. The Lions, gave him a cup of coffee in 2024 season when everybody was hurt. They liked what he offered. They gave him a bigger role this past season, and he played like he earned it. Good for him. He's an older guy. This is his last chance to cash in. I don't know if the Lions can afford to keep him, but I'd love to see him back.
Yeah, it's another player. I could see. How long was he there for?
2 years. Well, this past season, and he had like a handful of games in 2024. Again, with 2024, they played 56 dudes on defense. It's hard to keep track of how long each one of those guys was there.
Yeah, look at all this. Wow.
Yeah. He had suspension issues with PEDs that cost him some time earlier in his career. Wasn't exactly the easiest, teammate, coachable guy. He has matured a lot and become a very good football player in the last season. And I hope for his sake it gets rewarded. And it would be great if it's in Detroit, because if not, that's a pretty sizable hole to fill.
Yeah. I would think, like you said, that even at his age, you get double-digit sacks, you're a free agent, he's going to make money. So, All right. And then the secondary, you got Maddox, Mills, Mollett, and Yasin. Also Daniel Thomas. Any of those guys need to be back?
They need to keep one of the safeties, whether it's Yasin or Maddox or Thomas, just because Brian Branch tore his Achilles in November, early December. Can't count on him before Thanksgiving at probably the earliest to be at full speed. And Kirby Joseph has a knee injury that knocked out most of his season, and it's chronic. It cannot be surgically repaired. So they're going to try to do some things to get him to where he can gut through the pain. And when they're healthy, they're the best safety tandem in football. I will argue with anybody about that. But right now, the safety room is Thomas Harper and Dan Jackson, who missed his rookie season with an injury. So they got to keep some bodies. Maddox had 2 good games. He played really, really well against Dallas, and he played great in the finale against Chicago. The rest of the time, he did not look like an NFL player anymore, which is what Eagles fans told all of us all summer. good luck with this guy. So he's insurance. Rock Ya-Sin played well. I would love to see him come back as a depth cornerback. He stepped up and filled Terrion Arnold's shoes once Terrion got hurt. He's not Terrion. He doesn't have the speed at all of Terrion, but plays a similar physical style, and it worked pretty well for him. So I'd like to see him back.
Yeah, because looking at the secondary, it's like the majority of the secondary are either free agents or coming off injuries.
Yes.
And Amick Robertson, he did not have a good year.
He started well, and then teams figured out that he's small and guesses a little bit.
Okay.
I love Amik. He is Greg. You've known me long enough to know that I have a type. I love the undersized, yappy, aggressive slot corner like that. That's my type. He is that, but he didn't have a good year. But I still love the guy. If he wants to come back, I would welcome him back, but not for a lot of money.
Okay. And what's up with Rakestraw?
Ennis Rakestraw. He probably got hurt while you were saying his name.
That's not good.
He is. He has not had a healthy season since his junior year of high school. He's had maladies galore. Just in Detroit, he's had hamstring, sports hernia, and shoulder, which wiped out last season. In less than 2 years, he did all that. Go back to his Missouri. He had a torn ACL. He had hamstring, calf, foot. I think he had a hand injury somewhere in there. Just ridiculous amount of injuries, which is sad because he is. And I actually wrote about this when they drafted him. I'm like, he so fits what they want at cornerback, but you can't ever rely on him to be healthy. And he's just got to stay healthy and hope that he makes a team, because that has to be where they're at with him with all the injuries now.
All right. What's up with Paschal, John Paschal? He's restricted. So
another guy who's been injured a ton.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to wind up just cutting bait on that, because this was a guy that they thought was going to come back this season, and it just didn't work out from his injuries. He's had back surgery. This is a guy who battled skin cancer when he was at Kentucky and overcame it, which is fantastic. Again, this is another guy. He is straight out of central casting for what they want on the opposite side of Aiden Hutchinson. But, man, he just cannot stay on the field. And they need to have less of that on the roster, in my opinion, and in most Lions fans' opinion, too.
Before we move on from defense, are there any other players that are coming back from injury? Key players that we didn't talk about?
Not really.
Okay.
Ali McNeil will be healthier next year than he was this year.
Okay.
He tore his ACL in 2024 near the end of the season. He played really, really well in his first game back, and then didn't really look like the Ali McNeil, who was one of the best defensive tackles in football for the last couple of years. I expect a lot more from him going forward, and they need more from him going forward.
Yes. Yeah, that was a big part of what they were doing. No question about it. Okay. And everybody else is okay. Terrion Arnold's going to be okay. And
let's hope so, because he took a big step forward. His ability to not hold everybody in coverage took a big step up. He's got confidence. He's got swagger. He is an excellent run defender on the outside, and they missed him late in the season. When he went out, their run defense went down. I know it's tough to say, well, your run defense lost because you lost your cornerback and also Brian Branch, but yeah, that happened. So please get well, Terrion, and keep growing, because you're a good player.
Yeah, that's one of the positions that is growing without a doubt in the NFL on defenses, is that big nickel, that player that can tackle. You can put him in a variety of positions, and that's becoming very valuable, which is why I think, matter of fact, that we're doing a mock draft show tomorrow morning, the first one for Ourlads, and I've already seen their mock draft that they're going to talk about, and I believe they have Caleb Downs number 2, and that's what I'm going to bring up with them to talk about. We know safeties have not.
He's the best player in the draft, like regardless of position. I don't have any question about that.
The problem is
he's right there with Kyle. He's not Kyle Hamilton, but he's he's close.
Yeah, the problem is that in recent years, the NFL has shied away from safeties. And we saw it last year with Starks going all the way to the Ravens late first round.
Brian Branch is a great example. He's that kind of guy too. And he fell to the second round, stupidly.
Yes. So that's why when I saw it down second, I was like, okay, then there's got to be more to Downs' game that says he's a difference maker for these reasons and that type of player that we just talked about that the NFL is looking at. Because I don't think Caleb Downs is just a safety. So,
I agree.
Because otherwise he wouldn't be. I don't think we'd project them as the second pick in the draft. So
I'm with you there.
Okay, let's move on to offense. Not a lot of players on offense and free agents. So Raymond, kick returner, receiver,
and number 3/4 receiver, number 4 receiver. He's very good at what he does. Pro Bowl kick returner. He's probably going to be priced out of that role though. That's a spot where when you are paying so many people premium dollars, you can't break the bank there. I wish him well. He's been a very good. He was wide receiver 1 when this regime started in 2021. Believe it or not.
Wow.
And that's how far they've come. That now he's expendable. I'm sure they would love to have him back.
Sure.
If he's willing to not market himself effectively. You know?
If a team comes around that's got a few extra bucks, then he's gone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, God bless him. That's
offensive line.
Get your money while you can.
Yeah, absolutely. He's 32. Offensive line, there's 4 guys. Any of these guys that you think deserve to come back?
So, not really. Aushika, maybe Tristan Colon, and I say Tristan Colon can come back. He did not play well, but Drew Petzing is a new offensive coordinator, and he was the offensive coordinator in Arizona where Colon earned enough to get signed by the Lions.
Wow.
So I could see him coming back from that. If he leaves, I'm not going to shed any tears. But they do need experienced depth on the inside because I will be surprised if Graham Glasgow comes back, and they've got to get better. I'm sure we'll get to the team
we
needs,
will.
but
yes,
we'll table that for then. But Aushika's been around a long time. Like, he's functional as a backup, but no, you don't pay for that guy. You know, you can find that guy in the 7th round. Yeah. You can find him as a reclamation project from somewhere. I don't know.
Skipper and Jones. I know Skipper's
Skipper retired.
Oh, he did.
He's already entered the coaching realms. He was coaching tight ends and offensive linemen at the Shrine Bowl last week.
Okay.
Good for him.
And Jones, DeMarco.
He got hurt. And it's sad because he legitimately played well this summer, like enough that he earned the number 3 tackle spot, and then he got hurt. And I don't know. He's worth bringing back to camp with the expectation that he won't make the team, but could surprise you. I think is probably the best way to say it for him.
All right. And the next one is offense defensively. Are there any players, young players, who anyone outside of Detroit may not be familiar with that might be coming into camp this next season with a chance to be a bigger contributor than they've ever been, or maybe even a starter, some sort of a young player, not necessarily a rookie like draft pick, but one of those under the radar type young players?
I think we are all have everything that can be crossed for Giovanni Manu to wind up being the 3rd offensive tackle, which would be a big step up for him. He had shown some growth this year, and then he got hurt.
Of course.
I just go back to when they drafted him as an offensive tackle from the University of British Columbia, where he went from Tonga to play basketball, not football. He literally did not know he could move his left foot first off the snap when he got to Detroit. Like, that's how green this guy was.
Look, there's no scouting report on him.
Well,
Ourlads,
exactly. He is a physical marvel, and he did show real progress. But the real progress was from being a guy who probably wouldn't have started at any he might not have started at a MAC school as a rookie, honestly, like straight up. Last year, he looked like he could be a game day inactive and merit a spot on the 53, but then he got hurt. So where that stunts his development, like, I don't know, man.
Okay.
But I'm rooting for him, but at the same time, that's a third round pick that they used on him. They traded a third round to draft him in the fourth. That's not sat well, not aged well for Brad Holmes.
Well, I guess we kind of felt though that when they got him, it was going to take a couple of years.
Yes.
So next year's his year. That's the year.
Yes.
It's your opportunity. Let's see what you got.
Yeah. And the other one is another offensive lineman. It's right there in the middle of the screen, Miles Frazier.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
He got a cup of coffee at the end of the season. Didn't do a whole lot with it. I was a big Miles Frazier fan. I was ecstatic when they drafted him. He's got to show more this coming season. And off season, he missed a lot of time. He wasn't healthy, and that hurt his development.
Is that another way of saying he was injured?
Yes.
You're just sick of using the word, so you're looking for something else. He wasn't healthy.
I'm trying to come up with as many euphemisms as I can. I am hopeful that he can challenge to be a starting guard in 2026, but I don't know that that's going to happen.
Okay.
But it would be great if he could. If not, he can definitely take the spot that Coyote Alshika has played as the top interior reserve, who can also play tackle. I actually like Miles Frazier as tackle better than I like him at the guard, but the Lions don't seem to agree with me on that. And they're the coaches and I'm not, so I will listen to them and accept it.
Okay. Anyone on defense?
Oh, man. That Tyleik Williams, as a first-round pick, you hope that he makes a giant step into year two. He played much better at the end of the season. It started to come around for him. Beyond that, I mean, Trevor Nowatzki could conceivably step up and take Anzalone's spot, but he's not shown that yet. Good young player. Probably best served as like your top backup. He can bump up to the spot where Malcolm Rodriguez was as your top reserve linebacker, and I think you'll feel pretty good about that.
Okay.
Rakestraw, we talked about him. Yes. Dan Jackson, who knows what's going on with him.
Yes.
I'll just go back to, he was a 7th round pick last year, and they had an undrafted rookie named Ian Kennelly from Grand Valley State. And Kennelly definitively outplayed him all summer, and they kept Jackson, and then Jackson got hurt. And I have no idea what's going on with Kennelly. He didn't resurface anywhere. But Jackson's got to show more when he's healthy than being just a guy who can be a gunner on special teams, because that's kind of all he really did well this summer. So fingers crossed, because I like Dan.
How do you spell his name?
Ian Kennelly, Kennelly. I believe he went back to be a student assistant or something.
Ian Kennelly.
Very like high-end athlete. But it just didn't work out for him with the Lions. And, he didn't – to my knowledge, he didn't sign with anywhere else on a practice squad or anything. So maybe he just decided the NFL grind wasn't for him, which might explain why the Lions would not keep him.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's not around. Well, he's doing something. But
yeah, he's clearly doing something. I should
he's doing something.
People.
Yeah. Okay. Now – let's move on to the coaching staff. So you mentioned Petzing already. So what do you think about the hires? Kafka's on board. Petzing is on board. What do you think about those hires?
I'm very, very happy. Mike Kafka was my personal number one choice to be the offensive coordinator. Drew Petzing was not. He was not on the short list, but he wasn't far behind it. I like guys who can maximize what they've got. And both of those guys showed that they can do that. Now, the result, again, they're coming from bad football teams. Like,
true.
Make no mistake about that. If you ever want to feel better about your own team, go look at the starting offense that the Arizona Cardinals trotted out in their loss to the Houston Texans. Like, there were guys I legitimately didn't know who two of these guys were. And I watched crap ton of football. I've been covering the draft forever. Who is that?
I know.
And they scored 20 points against the Texans. That impresses me, Greg.
Sure.
It impresses Lions fans more than it does. I think most of them are coming to the conclusion, like, okay, this guy, they had a pretty good run game. They did a lot of really good things with their tight ends. Kafka darn near beat the Lions last season with Jameis Winston throwing to not Malik Neighbors without Cam Scatteraboo in the backfield. Like, okay, that has my attention. So
sure.
They understand how to turn chicken bleep into some decent salad. And that's not something that happened in 2025 in Detroit. They for as successful as they were still a top 5 offense. They wound up leaving a lot of meat on the bone because they didn't adapt to the personnel that they had after injuries very well. And both of these guys have shown that they can do that. So I'm very, very excited about what's going on with the coaching staff. I'm much more so like there will be a lot of Lions fans who will put comments in here. They're like, he's crazy. We hate this hire. And
why is that?
Their opinion on that? Because everybody got hung up that Mike McDaniel was out there and they interviewed him. And even though he would have been a rotten fit in Detroit, I've tried to make that as clear as possible.
Yeah, exactly. That's like completely opposite of their head coach. It is completely. Yes. It would make no sense. Yes,
it made absolutely no sense at all. And then the fact that he gets hired by the Chargers, but is still shopping himself. Says, like, what are you doing, dude? Like that's not Detroit. No. He's just not. But fans get dug in on. This is something that's more peculiar with Lions fans base than a lot of other fan bases. They get their sights set on a certain name or guy, and when they don't get him, like no matter who it is, even if they were, we could have hired name offensive player X, and they wouldn't have cared because it wasn't Mike McDaniel. That's who they got sold on early by a couple of influential media people. And that's very unfortunate, but that's what Drew Petzing has to go against.
Sure. Hey, I know how fan bases can be as a Jet,
yes,
especially ones that have had a lot of losing. And the Lions, of course, they've had their share of losing for many years.
Hey, neither of us is Cleveland, and that's a good thing.
That is true. That is true. The Jets do have a Super Bowl, even though it was many, many years ago. Anyway, so let's now turn our. So you mentioned a few of these rookies. So when you look back at the class and how it was done, what did you think? What was your overall?
Ratledge played well. Ratledge might wind up being the center of the future, but he played. He was first team all rookie at guard and earned it. Had some rookie moments, but also looked like a guy who's going to be at least a decent long-term starter. Tesla is probably the same. I think he's going to be a very good number 3 wide receiver going forward and has shown a lot of ability, unique ability with his length and size and athleticism. The catch that he made in the back of the end zone, my God, like there's not a lot of dudes that can make that. It looked like Mike Evans, honestly. And I'm not saying that he's going to be Mike Evans because he's not, but he can certainly be the number 3 receiver in this offense. And Dominic Lovett pretty much only played special teams. That's another one where they probably could have gotten him undrafted and it would have been the same deal. But I don't know. He is definitely fast and tough, and that will give him a chance to replace Khalif Raymond in the lineup.
Okay. We have a question here from Detroit Fan Man. Fan Man 9899. Was Wingo benching and who's that? Aleem
McNeil.
Oh, Aleem.
Talk about. He's referring to Mekhi Wingo was a healthy scratch for almost the entire season, and the issue with Mekhi is he doesn't have a position. He's a terrible size. He's 6 foot 280, and he's not big enough to play inside, and he's not quick enough or fast enough to play outside. There's just it's unfortunate. He's a guy that probably doesn't have a role unless he really slims down or really bulks up, and he hasn't shown that he can do either of those yet. So,
Yeah, see, due to his lack of size, he cannot be relied upon to hold his own against double teams.
He can't even handle single teams inside, and that's been the big issue. And the way that they play defensive end, he's just not. He's not a guy who gets off the snap fast enough. He's not a guy who can shed fast enough. He made one really nice play. I think it was in the Chicago game. It might have been the Minnesota game. And everybody got super excited. And then they went back to running right at him, and he couldn't do a darn thing.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
It probably was an accident. That's all. And, I just landed on a good play. And that's how it works sometimes. What was that term? Even something
broken clock is right twice a day.
Oh, there you go. I like that one too. All right, now let's get to the big one. Needs. Now, obviously, a lot's going to happen with who gets signed, who doesn't, and all that. But at this point in time, if again, and guessing that whether or not you think certain players will get signed or not. Right. Let's go. Is there a definite number one, without a doubt, need on this team?
Interior offensive line, number one with a bullet.
Okay.
Now there is an asterisk. If Taylor Decker retires, offensive tackle shoots the number one, and he has talked about retiring. So, offensive line together, number one and number two. Put it that way.
Offensive, you mean to tackle too?
Yeah.
So you think they'll go? You'll think they're going to go with, or you think they should be concentrating on both inside and outside offensive line?
Absolutely.
More than anything. Okay.
Because when Decker has talked about retirement, he and Frank Ragnow, who retired suddenly last offseason and have left a massive hole in the middle of the offensive line later than they could fix it. Look, the way Decker has talked, I would love to have Decker back, and I hope he comes back, but you can't plan on it. He battled through shoulder surgery. He after one of the games, it was mid-season, it might have been the Dallas game, and they were asking him questions after the game, and he's like, guys, I'm so loaded up, I really don't remember what just happened. And he is a family man. He's got young daughters. The pain is very real for him. So they need to plan for life after Taylor Decker.
Sure.
And it could be 2026, it could be 2027, but either way, you've got, right now, again, the depth chart is Giovanni Manu and Jamarco Jones, who's hurt. Dan Skipper just retired. They got to replace him too.
How quickly it turns.
Yes, absolutely.
Just a couple of years ago, the best offensive line in the game. And shows you how quickly, especially when you got players that are a little bit older. So, they got to get some work done there. Okay.
It's fleeting. Yeah, they definitely have to address it without question, because also it showed that the offense, I won't say it didn't work, because, again, they were really effective, but they could have been much more effective with better line play.
Mm-hmm. And that's also important for Goff. Because as we all know, it's just night and day. He's one of those players that needs protection.
Yeah, he's not mobile. He is not a guy that avoids pressure well.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Next need after the offensive line.
I wrote these down. I have defensive end, edge, opposite Aiden Hutchinson, and that's true even if Al-Qadim Muhammad does re-sign.
Okay.
Once again, he's 32 years old.
Yes.
Probably a 1-year deal. It would probably be in Lions land. They would sign him for 1 year with 2 void years to make it more affordable. But the intention is that he's playing 1 year.
Again, with the way NFL teams Jones for pass rushers, he's going to get a team that's going to say, I'll give you 2 years, 3 years guaranteed. You know?
And if he does, good for him.
Yeah.
Good for you, dude.
Sure.
But they've got to get somebody there as a long-term solution, because they do not have that right now. There's some hope that Ahmad Hassanin, who got hurt, he was a 6th or 7th round pick out of Boise State last year, got hurt. They actually cut him with the gentleman's agreement that he would come back, and he did. He honored his word. Now he's on a futures contract. He's a bundle of energy, a whole lot of fun, but still not a great football player. So there's work to be done there. I hope that he can work his way into being in the rotation. And like a guy like Tyler Lacey, Tyrus Wheat, who came in this past offseason, like, okay, you can bring them back, but you've got to you need a building block there. And this seems to be a good draft. You can talk to your Ourlads guys about this. I think the day 2 pass rush crowd is pretty good this year. And we're seeing some of those guys at Shrine and Senior Bowls. Like, you can probably get that on day 2, maybe. Now, you only have 1 pick on day 2 for now. I wouldn't. The way that the Lions have drafted and been aggressive, it wouldn't surprise me at all if they traded next year's 3rd round to get back into the 3rd round this year or something like that. Who knows?
Hey, it's possible. I mean, they really do. They can't afford another non-playoff season. So
no.
Too many guys that are ready to take that next step. Let me see what they've got here for later in the mock with the edge.
Caleb Lomu is nice. I like him in Detroit. Early favorite for me at 17.
Who's that?
Caleb Lomu from Utah, the offensive tackle.
Oh, okay.
You guys can go on. I think it was Houston there.
There you go.
Yeah,
okay.
or San Francisco. That's a good pick for them too. Okay. I actually like him better than Spencer Fano, who's rated higher for Detroit specifically.
Yeah, I thought he was like a top 10 caliber
player.
I don't know where they have him. Okay. Oh, there he is.
Oh, they got him in Detroit. Okay. I don't hate that. He's my issue with Fanu versus Lomu. We'll go to a little bit of draft talk here. I think Spencer Fano is who he's going to be already, where I see Lomu has a lot of growth potential. And Fano can come in and start right away at right tackle, and move Penei Sewell to left tackle. I don't have an issue with that at all. But I think Lomu's ceiling is higher, but he's also not at it yet. And that, that's, what's their philosophy? Do they want the guy who's more finished now, or do they want the guy who they can rely on offensive line coach Hank Fraley to get more out of, even if it's not as good as the first 25 or so games? I can't answer that. They have to answer that.
Okay, so there you go. Edge, that's number 3. Yes. What do you got after the edge?
Safety, just again, we talked about the injury issues that they have there. If everybody was healthy, safety would be probably the best position on the roster, but it's not. So, yeah.
I mean, even right now with Dan Jackson not healthy, is there a number 3 guy that you're comfortable with?
If you bring back Maddox, maybe. Daniel Thomas is a special teams player.
So
I don't know, man.
Okay.
That's a tough one. Harper played well. Like Thomas Harper, again, if you take the top 3 safeties and they're all healthy, the Lions have the best safety room in football. Like, it's not even close. Harper played well, but asking him to be your number 1, he's going to need a strong number 2 with him.
Okay.
And again, fingers crossed that Kirby Joseph can get back and play, but you've got to have the contingency plan in place that he can't. And I hate saying that.
What are the odds that what is your guess regarding Branch and Joseph healthy next season?
Branch won't be. Just the Achilles tear when it happened. He's going to miss the entire offseason. That's asking a lot. And so much of his game, too, is the fact that he can, I don't want to say teleport like Myles Garrett, but he winds up being where you don't expect him to be because of his burst. And asking that after an Achilles is asking a lot.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Yeah.
It sucks. And Kirby?
Kirby's going to fight through it, man. His knee injury, it's been described as like chronic tendonitis, things that can't get repaired. There are volumes written upon it, and I would refer Lions fans to Dr. Jimmy Liao. He's done a lot of work on it. He knows what he's talking about. He and I both have our fingers crossed, but oh man, it's tough. For a fan base that lived through Louis Delmas back in the day, who was a really good safety, but his body just wasn't built for football. We're kind of seeing the same thing with Kirby and hoping that it's not the case.
Ugh. Just can't stand injuries. I don't remember when I was growing up. I don't even remember when I was in my 30s injuries being such a big deal.
I
just don't remember.
I really don't.
It's only been the last few years. It looks like every year. It's like every team has got just so many injuries.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. I
think there's a discussion to be had about the limitations of the human body, but that's over.
Well, and the other thing is you play 17 games. I mean,
yes.
But there'll be 18. Oh, we're going to get rid of the one preseason. What the fuck does getting rid of one preseason that nobody plays has anything to do with adding another regular season game to the body of these athletes? Unbelievable.
Don't get me started, man. I'm with you.
And you would think that the fans would be like, oh, I love it. More football. But we don't love it because we know it's going to damage our players.
Exactly.
Jesus. I don't understand it. Oh, I do understand it, but it's just the Players Association needs to have some balls and to go, no, we're not going 18 games.
That would be very nice.
Anyway. All right. Give me another need. Fifth need.
I have and it depends on the free agency with Anzalone and Rodriguez. If they're both gone, it's linebacker. If one of them even is back, I would shift it to tight end, where we have an offensive coordinator coming in who loves 13 personnel. The Cardinals ran 13 personnel 10% of the time. The Lions have Sam Laporta coming off of an injury, Brock Wright coming off of an injury, and a bunch of dudes who shouldn't have even been on an NFL roster. Anthony Firkser among them. If you're going to have 13 personnel, you need 3 tight ends. They right now have maybe 1.5, maybe.
That's not good. Yeah.
Yeah. So a tight end who can now I should have brought him up. Zach Horton as an H-back fullback has some potential as an undrafted rookie from last year.
Okay.
He can grow. He can develop maybe into TE3, but I want competition for that role.
Okay. Let me see. We've got the tight ends in here somewhere. Let's see.
I have not broken down the tight end class yet a lot.
Michael
Trigg would be interesting, although I'm not sure he's going to fit the Lions mentality. But like Koziol, Justin Jolly, who's hurt. Oh man.
He is? What happened? Yeah, when did he get hurt?
During the season. I think he's back now, but
okay.
He's had some injury time. That one of my biggest complaints about Brad Holmes as the Lions GM is that his money ball idea is that you can draft injured players or players with significant injury histories and get them at value, but he depends too much on that. That's.
I remember who is my GM, my World Series GM with the Nationals, Rizzo, loved to do that. He would draft Tommy John guys.
Yes.
And I was like, all right, well, but it's baseball. So it's completely different because there's so many players and there's so many pitchers, and pitchers are going to have Tommy Johns anyway. So it's like, I understand it, but in football, the player lifespan is so small that that's taking a big chance.
Yeah. The Ennis Rakestraws and Josh Pascals and Levi Onzariquez and there's too many of them.
Out. Well, how did the fans? I mean, Brad Holmes. What kind of a grade does he have right now? Because he's obviously been a part of the rebuild. But a couple of years ago, I'm just guessing. I would feel 2 years ago, fans would think a lot more differently than they do now. Am I wrong?
I would say he's lost the benefit of the doubt.
Okay.
He's still a good GM, and like he's got it. I wouldn't surprise me at all if he winds up knocking this offseason out of the park and the Lions win the Super Bowl, and he's lying. Put a statue of him out front. That absolutely is still within the realm of possibility, but he has lost the benefit of the doubt with a lot of the fan base and some of the more vocal media that are not trust. The big phrase was trust in Brad and let Brad cook. Well, now it's like, okay, well, maybe don't let him cook so much. Maybe he needs, Gordon Ramsay over his shoulder yelling at him when he's trying to cook something bad.
Okay. He needs a sous chef.
That's sort of where we're
chef.
at. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right. So what are you up to right now? Is everything draft or is it free agency related? I would guess first, right?
Trying to balance them all. With it being, Shrine and Senior Bowl week and all that, I have been busy in the draft. And again, the Lions external free agency is probably not going to wow people this year.
True.
It's just not. So I'm much more into the draft, finding prospects that fit the Lions, finding prospects that don't fit the Lions. One of the things that I love about Brad Holmes, it's a lot easier to sort through prospects now. Much like it was with Ozzie Newsome in Baltimore, and then the way that they've gone, the way John Schneider has. When you look at a player and you say, "That's a Raven, that's a Seahawk," we can do that now. Like, that's a Lion, or that's not a Lion. That's where I'm at in the process right now of finding those guys who are and who aren't, and identifying them and segmenting them that way.
That's good. Yeah, that definitely helps. No question about it. And other than that, everything else is just about hoping guys are healthy.
Yes.
And we can do about that as fans. Nothing that anybody can do about that, pretty much. Again, who knows? I know the Niners were thinking about, what was that thing that they were experimenting on, or saying that we shouldn't be, I don't know, they were blaming, well, not blaming.
They have like power lines or something near there that
I don't know.
Electromagnetic. Somebody sent me the article and I'm like, okay. Like,
yeah, I get it, but
I do too, but
how about 17 games? How about we start with that first?
How about we end inactive players? So you're paying 53 guys to play, and only 46 of them can play. Somebody explain to me why that makes sense. Yeah. It's causing hurt guys to play injured.
There you go.
Stop it, NFLPA.
That's right.
For the love of God, and the inactive player madness that serves no purpose anymore. It hasn't for 20 years.
Yes.
The guys get paid anyways. It's not that hard. Why are you not letting them play?
I think another thing that may even be like nobody would guess it, but I just have to think that there has to be a fine line between the way that they used to kill these guys during training camp with all the practices and then the way they're treated now, because there is no way that I think, because if you want to look at a correlated effect there, well, why not? I mean, we're seeing more injuries now, it seems, when we're in the regular season, because I don't think these guys are ready for the regular season. They're not being put through enough hard physical practices in the preseason, in training camp, to get them ready, that once the season begins, boom, it's like everybody's full speed ahead. And I think that's part of the problem. I think they need to allow a little bit more physical contact without going crazy. Dan
Campbell would agree with you. And he has talked about that.
Has he? Yeah.
Yeah, he has. He's not the only one. I know Jim Schwartz would certainly agree with you now that he's on the market. Well, D'Amico Ryans would agree with you too. Because we asked him that when he was in Detroit this past summer.
Okay, great.
Practices.
That's good. Yeah. I hope they come up to their senses. Anyway, Jeff, it's always great talking about the Lions with you. I know we'll talk no later than after the draft, because that's when we'll be able to take a look at the entire offseason when it's pretty much done at that point. And then we'll be off to the 2026 season. And in between, again, links in the description of this video where you can check out Jeff's work. And Jeff, always fun talking Lions football with you. I appreciate it as always.
Thanks for having me, and I appreciate it.
You got it, Jeff. Take care. All right, Jeff Risdon, Detroit Lions podcast. So I'm sorry for the live viewers. I'm going to have to get those links updated, and I will. I promise you. I'll see you tomorrow for our football coverage. Is going to be at 1:00 with the Playbook podcast with Mark Lawrence and Andy Isco and myself, and then I'll be on at 8:30 to talk football with the Miami Dolphins and Jason Sarney. So that's football only. And then again, don't forget the mock draft special. That will be tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. So I've got a busy day tomorrow. I got 3 football shows. And if you guys are interested in horse racing, I have a horse racing show at 4:00, I think. So very busy day tomorrow. On Thursday, it starts at 8 a.m. talking NFL mock draft. So all those picks that you saw on the screen there from the Ourlads website. That's their first mock draft. They just put it together a couple days ago. And so both leading scouts at Ourlads will be with me tomorrow. We're going to go through the draft, all 32 picks, and find out a little bit why they thought that those picks and those teams made sense and so forth, and overall analysis. So that'll be good to get the ball rolling with the first mock draft of the 2026 offseason right here on the Ourlads Football Network. And then it's off to talking about the championship weekend last Sunday, and the Super Bowl, of course, early Super Bowl talk, maybe some college football talk about some of the coaching hires, things of that nature. Again, that's at 1:00, and then Miami Dolphins interview at 8:30. So that's football on Thursday. Right now, we don't have anything scheduled for Friday, but it's early. So that's going to wrap it up. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for your questions, your comments, all of that. And I'll see you guys soon right here. Ourlads Football Network, Proline TV.